Hello, my name is Ray Montgomery. I'd like to welcome you guys to Bosma Enterprises Virtual Outreach. And today with me, I have Kurt Deichmann, Rehabilitation Manager, here to talk about our Vision Rehab one-on-one program. How you doing, Kurt?
I'm doing just fine, Ray.
All right. I'm glad to have you on today. You staying warm?
Yep, that's why I got my sweatshirt on today.
Sounds good. So, Kurt, you are the Rehabilitation Manager at our Center for Visionary Solutions for the Blind. And how long have you been in that particular role?
I'm in my 10th year right now.
Oh, okay. And our Center for Visionary Solutions for the Blind, could you talk about the services that we provide for Hoosiers experiencing vision loss?
Sure. So the Rehabilitation Center is what we refer to as center-based.
Mhm.
It's where clients will come here physically to our center, and we will teach them, new or reformulated solutions so that they can live better, more independent lives, and also be, ready for the work world. And Sometimes that means a stopover, for some education. It might be academic or vocational, but work is typically at the end of the rainbow, if you will.
Okay. Okay. So, what type of services do we provide to individuals living with vision loss?
Well, boy, it's all kinds, Ray, and it runs the gamut from, let's say that you're a senior, 55 and over. That falls into our older individuals program, and that's under the auspices of our IRT, or Itinerant Rehabilitation Teaching Department, headed up by Marcia Egan. And if you're coming here to my center, we work on, six different subject areas depending upon what your needs are. No two clients are ever treated the same. It's really dependent upon what your needs are. A lot of people might come in with, have had some prior training or no training at all, but we're looking for, giving them some new, fresh skills in, say, orientation mobility, which is, learning to work with a cane, or traveling independently by yourself. Maybe you're using a shared ride or a public transportation. That's all orientation mobility. Personal management. It's all about, being safe in the kitchen first, and also getting your life much more organized than you ever thought before. How to match up your clothing, how to do your laundry, how to, you know, dust and vacuum and things like that, but also how to prepare your meals in a safe way. And that's personal management. Then we move on to manual skills. If you think of as people have lost their vision, I'm totally blind myself. I have been for 23 years. Um, the As you lose one of your senses, we all have five to start with, typically. As you lose one, in my case, my vision, then one or more of my other senses has to step up and take over. And so, in my case, tactile has always been a problem for me because the sensitivity in my fingers. So, I was never a very good candidate for Braille, which requires good sensitivity in your fingertips. But For my benefit, my hearing is darn good. And so I was able to replace everything that I needed tactually with using my ears. So when I work with my computer, instead of reading the screen with my eyes, I'm reading it with my ears. And That's kind of how that works. But so in the manual skills area, we're trying to get people connected with their fingertips to be able to do things tactually. It could be doing braille, and we start off by teaching them, some home repair projects, simple ones like tightening up a loose doorknob or fixing a leaky faucet, things like that. Also being safe around their load center in their home, or smoke detectors, to be prepared in case there's a fire, things like that.
Right.
Um, Communications, another area, that's where we would teach you Braille if you're so inclined. Um, we also would teach how to use a digital recorder to record everything from your shopping list to maybe a lecture if you're in college. Digital recorders are very handy for that. How to participate in the Talking Books audio books program from the Library of Congress. How to read newspapers again using the Newsline NFB program. That's what communications is all about. Another area is assistive technology. And Ray, it used to be, all about, computers. Now it's all about our smartphones.
Yes.
Our smartphones do so much for us. And there's just been a flurry of new apps, updated technology coming out all the time that's only to the benefit of the blind and visually impaired. Assistive technology is huge. Using digital assistants such as an Echo device is huge. Um, Moving on, we've got the last area to talk about is adjustment counseling. It's probably one of the most important ones, and that is as people have lost their vision, they've lost hope because they think that they may not be able to fit into either the working world anymore or that they're not going to be able to participate very well in what's left of their lifetime. And nothing, there's nothing more that it could be further from the truth. So we help them with that speed bump in life to try and keep it as shallow as possible. And we have an excellent social worker who does the best job possible and does an awesome job as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, does a great job over there at our center. So, Kirk, could you talk about our Vision Rehab 101 program for
Yeah.
individuals who may not qualify, to receive services, and why this program is so valuable?
Absolutely. So we created the Vision Rehab 101 program out of a need that happened because of a few years back, the U.S. Department of Education decided to no longer fund what was known as the homemaker goal. So anybody who wasn't willing to retrain for a future, work goal or go to school and then eventually go to work, they were, had no other place to turn. And that was a need that we recognized fairly quickly. And, we jumped in and we were able to find some donor grant money that's been able to allow us to set up some training for people to have no other place to go. Normally in our regular comprehensive program, people will get 16 weeks of training or roughly about 480 hours of training. In the Vision Rehab 101 scenario, they will get 30 hours. Now, a lot of people would say, hey, 30 versus 480, that sounds like, not enough. I will be the first to tell you that was always my impression at the start. But I can also tell you from all of the surveys that we've had from our past participants that they all say, you can't believe how valuable those 30 hours have been to them. So something is far better than nothing at all.
So prior to the start of the pandemic, individuals that were involved in our Vision Rehab 101 were coming down to our center. Then they would spend like a week at the hotel, and then they would do training at our center and go through. What would they learn throughout that week? And
well, it was the best of the best that we figured for the 30 hours that we had. One key difference is that it's more information transference than it is actual training. Because of the 480 hours, a lot of it is repetitive training to try and learn, skills. Okay. but with only having 30 hours, we were able to at least give people, access to resources. It's what you don't know that you don't know. So they are now aware of, many of the solutions that are out there that could aid them. And so that's basically, what it was. Plus, in the
Okay.
evenings, we would take people out and we would go to see a movie, but it would be a descriptive audio movie, which most people have never experienced before. And and we would couple that with a nice dinner, and so they would understand how a specially trained wait staff at a local establishment would, service people. So it was very well perceived. Yeah.
Okay. So what is the age requirements for the program
For the
Vision
Vision
Rehab?
one, there is no real age restriction. We've
Okay.
actually people in their early 20s, and gosh, I'm thinking we had. Did we have a 90-year-old? We may have had a 90-year-old in there at one time. Yeah.
Okay. So now, due to the pandemic, you guys have been kind of forced to move everything virtually. Tell me about how you had to adapt and what
Yeah.
adaptations were made.
Yeah. And that's, with the pandemic, we've all had to adapt, and that's the key word. So now we still do 5 days of training, but we do space it out: Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the first week, and then Tuesday, Thursday in the second week. Training is from 10:30 to 3 o'clock with an hour off for lunch. So you do get 4 hours of training per day times 5 days. That's 20 hours. So we had to pare down the 30 hours to the 20. And the thing that we left off was orientation and mobility, but we are now going back and providing, in-home orientation and mobility training. Now that the pandemic has started to slow down, we can actually send an instructor into people's homes and give them that piece that was missing.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. So, how was the program being receptive just with the virtual aspect now? How are clients doing right now?
Well, I'm very proud of the fact that for the most part, I think we're close to perfect 5 out of 5, almost
Okay.
across the board on all of our exit surveys. So it's been a hit.
All right, sounds good. So, how can individuals sign up, and when is the next course being offered?
Yeah. So the best way to contact us is through our 800 number. And Ray, could you repeat that number for them?
Oh, yeah. The toll free number to our rehab center is 888 567 3422. So,
Okay.
once again, 888 567 3422. And yeah, definitely give us a call. And how else can they reach you guys, Kurt?
Yeah, that's if they're local and want to call us locally, that same number would be 317-704-8240. And they need to express an interest in the uh, Vision Rehab 101 program. Right now, as you pointed out, we are virtual. We hope to someday be able to go back to the um, in-center training. There's just so much more that we can do when we're face to face with people.
Mhm.
The, but the virtual is a good close second, though. I will tell you that you do get quite a bit of benefit from that.
Okay. And the virtual is free.
It's everything's free. Yep.
Okay, got to sell it. Got to sell it. All right. Well, definitely take advantage of our Vision Rehab 101. For anyone who may not have another place to turn for training, it's a great program. And Kurt, I want to thank you for coming on, giving us that great information. If you guys want to learn more, please give us a call and please follow us on the web at www.bosma.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray.